Ready, set, go.
So, you guys seem to like the sleep token video. Like, you seem like you really like it. So, why don't we just do another metal album, another hard rock album, another crunchy, weird lore kind of album? See how that goes. Particularly, this is a very special video because this is my first technically sponsored video. After the Sleep Token video went out, a band reached out to me, or the singer from the band reached out to me in the comments, being like, "Hey, we're a prog rock band. We have lore. We would love to have you react to our stuff, maybe for the monies." And if there's one thing that I have not been able to do thus far in my YouTube career, it's get paid to make a video. So I jumped on that chance. Today, I have the blessed opportunity to listen to the VOX ARCANUM, who is a prog rock band from LA, Los Angeles. Tony Garcia, their lead vocals and guitarist, reached out to me on YouTube, and we've been in contact. Seems like a good guy. I checked their Twitter, and they seem very enthusiastic about Magic the Gathering, so that's a plus. That was fun to find. But yeah, this is gonna be an interesting video. Now, just because I have been technically paid to make this video does not mean that I can guarantee, positive opinions of every single song. It's a prog rock band. They'll probably like at least some of this, but I will still be honest and as unbiased as possible, given the circumstances. So, today we are listening to their first and only album. Apparently they're working on their second. But today we're working on the album of Time and Fate. Which, looking at Apple Music, rounds out to about 48 minutes. 13 tracks. Some of these are more like interludes, so I'm gonna try and see how these work nicely. Try and make sure that I'm listening to things as cohesively as possible to, provide the album's experience as it is intended. One of the nice things was their singer, Mr. Tony Garcia. If you're watching this, Tony, which it would be weird if you weren't, hello. My good man Tony sent me an explanation of their lore, which I now realize might not have been necessary because they have sort of an explanation of their lore on their Bandcamp website. If you want to afterwards, like, support these guys and their music and send them a little moolah for their music, go support them on Bandcamp. It's a good way to support musicians. I'll leave the link to their Bandcamp in the description. Go there. Do it. I'm saying that before having listened to the music. So if I get to the end of this sponsored video and be like, nah, this is trash, then maybe you won't find the link there, but I don't think that's gonna happen. But this is all to say, they sent me a little bit of an explanation or a summary of their lore. Because, as I said with Sleep Token, at least for their upcoming album in May, I'm definitely going to want to look into kind of how their world works, what the god of sleep is, like what its role is in their music, that kind of thing. But since I had access to one of the main minds of this music, figured I'd get the explanation straight from the brain that made it. So here we go. In our collective mythos for the band, the VOX ARCANUM is not only a name, but an active character throughout each and every storyline in our music. The VOX ARCANUM in Latin roughly translates to the voice of the unknown or the voice of secrets. In our concept, Vox is an eternal witness, an immortal character of unknown origin that intentionally intervenes in crucial times to alter the fates of mortals. Their true nature is obscure and their form is ever-changing, literally shape-shifting and appearing to every individual as a different entity, which kind of reminds me a little bit of like Pennywise from It, except in this case it's just someone showing up to try and alter history rather than show up to scare kids. Not really sure what, not entirely clear on what Pennywise's objective was, but that's not important right now. We're not talking about Pennywise. The only constant is Vox will always bear the mark somewhere on their body, which I'll put the old one and the new one up on the screen here. It's just kind of a very fancy X. So there's the Mark 1.0 from their current of Time and Fate, and then they've got a new one for their upcoming album, which is exciting. Vox, being an immortal, has lived for countless eons and has seen the universe begin and end countless times, seeing the same universe restart and the events unfold ever so slightly differently each time. They have seen virtually all outcomes and variations of fate, as it were. Of all the wonders in the universe, they are particularly most intrigued by humans and the relationships they have. So Vox desires to see new outcomes as the widest number of variations in the universe exist within the decisions humans can make. And Vox desires to see something new. At any critical moment in time, usually within matters of life and death, Vox will reveal themselves and tell and lay before the person the paths of fate they walk. I'm not having a good reading day today. And give them crucial information if only to allow them to make a decision. And Vox wants to see what they'll do, to observe. Therein is the gist of the entire band. Songs span different historical timelines as Vox interferes left and right throughout history on his journey through the infinite multiverse. We love a multiverse. Episodic stories where the one constant is Vox and the human characters always change, giving us a glimpse in what it's like to be Vox, seeing time unfold before them. Which I think is pretty neat. I like the idea, the whole like concept of the immortal being that's kind of watching history repeat itself and is just kind of standing there ageless and having to observe. Is a really cool one. It reminds me a lot of the character Me from Doctor Who, character played by Maisie Williams. I always thought that was a cool character. And I will be keeping track of, there's like, I guess 2 or 3 separate stories within this album, and I'll be marking those as we go. But with all that said, I want to get listening to this because I'm excited. So we're gonna start with the first 2 tracks. We're gonna start with Undone, which doesn't. Oh, Undone does have lyrics, and then Lomond. So Lomond through to Avon. Okay, I understand, because they kind of alternate between narratives. There's one narrative, which is the songs. Oh, my nose. There's one story that's composed of Lomond, her melody box, Avon's melody box, and Avon. That's one narrative. They're not all in order, but they're all the same narrative. Chronofatum is its own story. It's sort of like a one-off. And then the other story is The Denial of Fate, Orion's Death Wish, Taken Asunder, In Due Time, The Rehearsal of Fate, and Crossover, with Undone being sort of an overall intro to the album. So, with that all said, let's get started with Undone. I'm gonna listen to Undone, and then we'll move on to Lomond. Although there's literally only 5 words for the lyrics in Undone, so we'll cover that when we get to the end of Lomond. Ooh. 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 As I said in the Sleep Token video, I like a hard rock album that starts with quiet piano. Ooh. Oh, I love the violin. Ooh. That's very pretty. Oh, and we got the harmonizing violins. Very nice. Cool. Alright, what's Lomond got for me? What do you got for me? Ugh. I apologize for my stuffiness in this video, but the show goes on. Okay, so it is still in 4/4. They're just doing cool stuff with it. I am gonna say, because they've, this is their first album. From what I looked on their when I looked at their social media, it didn't seem like they had a huge following. I knew that the production. Oh, excuse me. Production value of this wasn't gonna be a highlight of the album. I'm not gonna. Oh. Am I good? I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh, they like the instruments don't sound good. I'm listening for the music. I'm not looking for the production. I don't really pay much attention to that anyway. Maybe I'll when their second album comes out, maybe I'll note if there's a difference in production value. But until then, I'm not gonna care much about it. Moving on. Ooh. Okay. Okay. Nice. Nice. Ooh, I'm getting, I don't know why, but I'm getting like Muse vibes. A little bit of Muse. Like older Muse, not their new stuff. Yeah, that was the first thing that came to mind. There's a little bit of Dream Theater dramatics in the vocals as well, is what I'm picking up on. Take that as a compliment. I know a lot of people love to give the singer for Dream Theater shit, but if you're pulling lower, you can be a little dramatic with your vocals. Oh. Oh. What are we doing here? Oh. Oh, this is fun. Oh. All right, we're picking it up. Okay. That's a fun time. Oh shit. You guys, you knew I'd appreciate some parts of this. And you're right. You're right. This is a fun time. I was starting to zone out a little bit. It's a bit of a slow, I would say the verse and chorus. I was starting to lose my attention a bit, but you brought it back just in time. Just in time. Very nice. Ooh. Nice. Oh. Oh. What? We got a lot happening in this song. We got a lot of different parts here, which makes sense if they're telling a story. Like, you want to have different parts match up with different parts in the narrative. Okay. Ooh. Nice. Okay, and then we bring it back down to the intro. Cool. Love that. What an intro. Okay. So that was Undone and Lomond. Cool. I will say, vocals wise, you get a little flat there. You're a little flat there. You've got a really like strong sound to your voice. Like I can tell what you're going for, and it sounds good. Just keep working on it. Like I'm not a vocalist much myself. I can sing. I can hold my own. no more than you can. You've definitely clearly put more work into it than I have. But you know, keep making sure that you're able to hit those notes consistently, especially when you're recording. You want to make sure that, like, whatever you use for the published tracks, you're putting your best foot forward with those vocals. And again, this is their first album. Y'all got room to grow and improve. This is a really strong first album so far. Let's take a look at these lyrics, which there are not many. Verses. Her fate now in my hands, broken the family ties. My life distraught for you, taken my heart and soul. And then the chorus is, I've come to find this part of me is gone, and somehow I'm fighting back the memories. I've gone too far now, there's turning back. Then third or second verse, I guess, because that gone too far now kind of functions as the chorus. Second verse, with the light of this room, I wish it were not true, witness to my own sin, bloodshed of my own kin. And then that last bit where they kind of change the pace a bit is, my dear Avon, I won't ever forget these last moments, wish it didn't have to happen this way. So I feel like this is probably introducing like a character, like sort of the character that the Vox Arcanum, or just Vox, will be appearing to see, you know, where their choices take them. That kind of seems to be the angle that they're going for, is they've established her fate now in my hands. Oh, so maybe this is from the point of Vox? Hard to say. I think the strongest theory for me at this point is that this is establishing a character from their point of view that is going to meet the Vox Arcanum. That's what I'm going to run with for now, until I run into a point where that theory does not work. So, for now, we're going to move on to her melody box, which is a minute and a half, which I'm going to stitch onto. Actually, I'll just listen to her melody box, because right after that is Chronofatum, which is sort of its own thing. Okay, yes. Her melody box is part of the same narrative, so I'm just gonna keep going to that. Ooh. This is just gonna be instrumental, I'm pretty sure.
I can tell that you have lost someone. I can see it in your eyes.
Yes. I lost someone very close to me. Not too long ago.
What was this person?
I had asked Tony to send me the what the words were for these spoken parts. And unfortunately for him, sorry Tony, I started recording this before you were able to send those things to me. So I'll put when I'm through this track, I'll put that whole script on the screen, and those watching can decode it for themselves, figure out what that means, because I'm not great at hearing words and retaining that information.
She was everything in my life.
It's cool though that they're using like the harmonics on the guitar to simulate the music box. That's a really cool way of doing that. Very effective and gets the sound like just right.
My love. And she was taken from me.
Unless it is a piano. That might be a piano. It's hard to tell. It's hard to tell with sort of the like texture of it. It could either be guitar harmonics or piano notes. They sound very similar because it's both doing weird stuff, you know. It's strings in both cases. It's strings all the way down. So,
I see. And to what lengths would you go?
but there's like a plucking sound to it. That sounds more like a guitar. I don't know.
To find the culprit? Would you do anything for vengeance?
Yes. God help me. Yes, I would.
Tell me, what was her name?
Levy.
Oh, excuse me. Okay, that was interesting. And that last sort of strum does make me think that that was probably a guitar making that melody, that music box sort of sound, which is really cool. That's a really cool creative way of making that sound. We're gonna keep moving right along to Chronofatum, which is its own story. Who knows what this one's about? We'll figure it out as we go. Okay. All right. Strong start in 3/4. Ooh. Ooh, that's fun. I like that. Out. Ooh. Unfortunately, anytime someone is playing like a sort of like chugging kind of rock rhythm in 3/4, it just immediately makes me think of the later part of the Halo theme. Nothing to be done about it. Alright, I'm getting more and more Dream Theater vibes here from the vocals. Very dramatic, very theatrical. Not everyone's cup of tea, but I get it. I'm jamming. We're vibing. Ooh. Those are some good shots. I like that. Ooh. The violins are really well placed in this album. I'm really liking the role that they're playing in the sound here. I just like violins and stringed instruments in general, so pretty easy to please that way. Ooh. Okay. We're building. We're building to something. We're building up to something. What is it? Ooh. All right. Oh, there we go. Now we're breaking off into a solo. Okay. That's fun. Cool. Nice. Opening things up. Oh, there we go. Nice. I like having that free and just calm, straight-laced. That was well done. Ooh. Ooh, okay, getting choppy. Getting a little choppy at the end there. Okay. I see ya. Very nice. That was a lot of fun. And I like... So this seems to be... It helps as a one-off in the overall narrative of things, in that it, like... This is the story that kind of introduces Vox Arcanum as a character. Because it's focusing on kind of his whole offer, his whole deal with humanity. I'll take a look at the lyrics here just so that you get what I'm saying. So the first verse is, in that fatal incident, walking lines between life and death, symmetry, no halves of this whole. The chorus, the functional chorus, is fighting through me, why can't I seem to redeem my sanity? Writhing, breathing out the truth, your past unfolds before you. And then it goes, what will become of me? Time, and then answered time and fate and destiny. You can retrace crucial steps of that fateful night, undo your mistakes, make things right, Chronofatum here. Set yourself, and then the last bit being, set yourself free, do not fear what's to come, do not fear destiny, set yourself free. So that's this whole thing of, like, Vox making this offer of, like, if you're unhappy with how your life of what your life has come to, you know, Vox kind of offers this choice of, like, you can redo some things, you can make a different choice. Let me look up what the hell Chronofatum means. Fate, time. Okay, so Fatum means doom, death, calamity, chrono meaning time. So you can sort of defeat time, defeat the concept of time, and transcend it in order to make a different choice. That's cool. That's a good introduction of kind of a big concept of their music. That's really neat. I had one more thought. This is the last thought that I'm gonna have on the vocals. Tony, you can take this with a grain of salt. A freaking drummer giving singing advice to a vocalist. Focus on melody. You guys are doing a lot of stuff where you're sort of, you have these expressions and little vocalisms that you throw. You'll do a lot of, like, sliding where it's like destiny, instead of, like, carrying on with the actual melody of the verse. You kind of tie it off with that little droop down, and that's a cool choice to make every now and then, especially in prog rock. It's very common. That's a very Dream Theater-y thing to do, and if that's what you want for your sound, more power to you. I'm not going to stop you. But I think it does help to have a strong grip on the actual melody of the song. I would say write the melody of the song first, stick to that, and then once you have that down, then you can make different choices with it. You can sort of play around with the melodics of it, and make things a little bit more outside the box. That's kind of how acting works, is you learn the words and you learn the movement first, and you get that into your body before you can start breaking rules, basically. If that makes sense. If that helps, great. If it doesn't, we're gonna keep moving then. No harm, no foul. We're moving on to the denial of fate. Does that mean the denial of fate? Okay, so they're rejecting the concept of fate, which is also kind of that whole thing that Vox Machina, not Vox Machina. I'm gonna make that mistake more than once, but Vox Arcanum, that's kind of his whole deal, is allowing the chance to deny someone their set course. Let's see how this goes. We're actually gonna go straight from this. Let me just check the narrative here. Yeah, we're gonna go straight from the denial of fates right into Orion's death wish, which is sort of the beginning of the third narrative in the album. So they go through the entire narrative before they come back to the Lomond narrative. They do Lomond and her melody box, and then they switch into Chronofatum, and then they go through the entirety of the Orion arc, I guess is what I'll call it, and then they loop back around to Lomond and the melody boxes and whatnot. Lomond and Avon and whatnot. So, let's head straight into the denial of fate. Oh, that is weird.
I simply do not understand. You
Oh.
tell me fate is unwritten, yet I can only choose one of two predetermined paths.
Right.
I cannot
Ooh.
and will not accept this. I will be that one who will pave a new road for my very own fate.
I'm pretty sure those are computer hi-hats. I'm pretty sure those are computer-generated hi-hats, which is an interesting choice, considering I haven't been hearing a whole lot of electronic elements up until this point. But maybe it's just maybe this is what they wanted for the denial of fate sound. That weird like, I don't know what that is, the like the I don't know what they're using to make that. That sounds really cool. I really like that. It's just a strange combination of sounds with that and the hi-hat and the piano and the spoken word stuff. It's making weird feels.
You cannot possibly understand fate
Oh.
as I do.
Hello, sir.
I walk the lines between life and death, between
Oh.
here and the farthest stars in existence.
Okay, so I
I've
think
seen the beginning and the end of the universe.
I think the man's voice in this track is Vox, if I'm not mistaken. I was hearing something like, I walk the lines between life and death, which sounds like something Vox would say.
Countless times, and across them all, either he dies, or you do.
Ooh. Oh. Oh, we got a little bit of like, they got a little bit of like a lo-fi beat going on here. That's cool. That's a cool little interlude. Okay, I'm gonna keep going, but this is intriguing. Huh. What a strange choice. I don't hate it. Alright, Orion's Death Wish. We're heading straight in. We should be aware this is a near 10-minute song. So we're in this one for the long haul. This is a whole ass story. It's a whole ass story. A whole story of ass. It might not be, but I'm willing. I'm opening to that. I'm open to that possibility. This is a cool build. I like the melodies that they're setting up here. They're doing a good job of like sort of setting a mood with just the instruments. It's a good thing to take the time to do if you've got a long song. But also you want to take your time with the beginning to establish the mood, but you want to keep things interesting. You want to make sure that the listener is hearing new things as they go, which they're also doing. So props to that. Oh. Oh, jeez. Oh, I wasn't ready. They were lulling me to sleep for a second there, and then I was not for whatever reason, I just expected them to keep going with that and not just come crashing in as they did. But I'm glad they did. They're welcome. Glad they're here now. Ooh. Yeah, that is fun. And that's a cool, like, sort of revision of that opening melody. Like, it's a little harder, but it's keeping the same sort of basic theme to it. Okay, so I think I've got a solid handle on what this narrative is going to be about. We got Orion, which I've noticed both of these stories, save for Chronofatum, where it's not clear, but both of these stories seem to be taking place in Ireland, which is an interesting choice. But maybe they've got their own reasons for having that be the setting for these narratives. I don't know. Oh. Ooh. That's fun. I love that. Very nice. Well done. Alright, what are we doing with... Oh. I love some synced up guitar and drums. I like it when they do things together. I like when they look at each other during. Ooh, we're getting a little chilled out here. Is this where they're out at sea? Are they in the calm of the waters? Are they in the eye of the storm, so to speak? Or literally? Hard to say. Ooh. There's 3 minutes left. What are we doing with this? Oh. We getting a little fancy schman. Oh. We got some shots. Okay. There we go. What symbol are they hitting to get that sound? That's a very specific symbol sound that I don't have on mic yet. But I like it. It's very crispy. Okay. Ooh. Ooh. Is this the storm? I think it is. It seems as though they're being taken upon by a great storm or perhaps a large wave. Okay. Okay. Oh, we're changing it up again? Okay. It's quiet again. What's happened? What's gone and happened? Okay. Okay, so that was Orion's death wish. That was a whole trip. Nice. That was a lot. So from what I'm understanding, you know, Orion is sailing out to sea, but there is some lady cares about him a lot, and is like, yo, it's freaking gnarly out there. Maybe don't go because you'll die. Do you want that? Do you want to die? Orion, do you have a death wish? And Orion's like, nah, dude, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go out into that water. And she's like, all right, I'm coming with you. If you're gonna die, we're gonna die together, and it's all romantic and shit. Or maybe they don't go. Because he's like, you mean well, but this is sheer nonsense. My decisions are my own. The sea is no place for a girl. Which, come on, Orion. Get with the times. Sea is just as much of a place for a girl as it is for a lad. Don't you forget that. Get that cross stitched onto a pillow. And then she keeps saying, please don't go. And then he's taken asunder, which is one of the worst things to be taken is asunder, taken apart. And then he's taking us under, which is a clever rhyme. I do like that. I do like asunder and us under. That's a pretty good one. Great. I was kind of hoping for... There were a couple parts where they did some cool breakdowns. I was hoping for things to pick up a little bit more near the end there. Particularly when it seemed like things were kind of being taken asunder, which is the next track, so maybe they do that for about 55 seconds. But hard to say. I would have liked a bit of a more up-tempo segment in there, but not going to complain too much. That was fun. We're going to move on to Taking Asunder, lead-in straight into In Due Time. Ooh. Nice whistling. Oh, we got the ship moving and everything. Are we just like washing up on the shore now? Is that what this is? Oh, that's a whistling note. Oh, okay. All right, we're straight in due time. All right. Oh. Nice. That's some... This is some classic, like, classic rock and roll stuff. Very bluesy. Ooh. Oh, I like that little... They're pulling out the triplets, the little... Do-ga-do-do, do-ga-do-do. That's nice. That's a cool little flourish there. Oh, hello synthesizers. Oh, that was heavier than I've heard so far. Ooh, are you screaming? Pony? Pony, are you... Or is that someone else? That might be the bassist. That might be Mike Gaeta. I'm not sure how to... Gaeta? Might be? Gaeta? Hard to say. It might be the bassist. Might be Tony. Hard to say. But in either case, good screaming. Of a welcome change. So, this is one thing that I'm noticing in the writing style is, first off, a lot of the like lyrics, they're kind of written as prose, and it makes sense because they're basically just writing the story and then writing music to it, right? They're writing the story or like the character monologues or the dialogue. And then they're making the melody fit how they're reading the story, or they're, working around it. And I don't know if it works all the time. I think sometimes there's sort of two routes you can go, especially with like narrative-based music. You can go the way of Sleep Token, which is on the more abstract side, I would say. They go the more poetic route of the narrative becomes more abstract and harder to pin down, but it's more compatible with creating sort of a more straightforward musical sound. It works better to have them feel like lyrics. Or you can go the sort of dream theater, sort of rock opera, for lack of a better term, feel that we're going with here, where you're basically writing lines and then singing them. And I think one of the dangers of that is that the melody ends up emphasizing parts of the lyrics that don't make sense as much. I think sometimes you have to be very, very careful if you're just musicalizing a paragraph of text, because it's harder to figure out the musical pace of it. It's harder to like break out and be like, okay, this is this musical phrase, and this is how that's gonna sound within the melody. it kind of starts to feel like you're, and this is not to say that I think this is what you're doing, but it starts to feel almost like you're improvising the melody as you go, just to fit how the words are written. So I think either you write your lyrics and you lean entirely in the way of rock opera, and I would recommend, you know, sort of listening to those sorts of sources. You listen to The Astonishing. As hammy as that album is, it's still fun music, and it's a rock opera. It's a fun trip. It's a good story. But it is its own style. Or you go the route of Sleep Token, where you run the risk of people interpreting it in ways other than the narrative that you've written for it, but it's more musically compact, right? There's no sort of rough edges or weird like emphases on words that don't need to be emphasized. Just food for thought. Again, I'm here to appreciate this music. These are my thoughts. Take them or leave them. And obviously, I'm not saying you have to choose one or the other, but I'm saying those are kind of the two ends of the spectrum when it comes to writing a concept album, if you want to call it that. You know, you either lean more in the literal narrative, or you lean slightly more on the poetic side while being aware of the narrative that you're trying to tell and being open to have it be interpreted in different ways, you know, which is still going to happen. I don't know if any of my interpretations of what's happening are correct, but it's easier to take these things when they're written more explicitly, right? So we'll keep moving here. Like there was a point where it kind of felt like the word felt emphasized, and you don't need to do that. You don't need to emphasize I think the best way to do it is just like sort of condense what you're trying to say. Condense the plot points that you're trying to make, or the thoughts that you're trying to convey from the characters, and say them in as few words as possible, and then work with that. That also gives more room for the music itself, for the band to kind of shine behind the lyrics, I think. Oh, that's a very distracting cymbal sound. I don't know if I needed that there. What is that for? What is that supposed to do? I'm only asking because it's such a specific sound. And like, I don't know if it fits, but if it's trying to evoke something specific, then I have a hard time figuring out what it is. Okay. Ooh, I do like those synths. Ooh, I do like this part. The I'm not finished yet is good. Oh, hello, drummer. Oh, hello, bassist. Hello, Mike. Nice. This is what I wanted to hear. This is what I wanted to hear in Orion's Death Wish. Hell yeah. Ooh. Well done. Alright. And now we're just jamming. We're just having fun. Nice job on the keyboards there as well. Oh, I just realized that their keyboardist, Julio, or Julio, it's probably Julio, is also credited as vocalist. So maybe they've been the ones screaming. Maybe they've been doing some gang vocals and they're all screaming. Who knows? I just know that it's their lead guitarist, Frank Castellum, is not credited as a vocalist. He's focused on his own craft, as he should be. He's doing great. You do what you gotta do, Frank. Nice. Are we fading out? We are fading out, I think. Okay. Interesting. That was cool. Okay, so story-wise, I've criticized the songwriting enough. Let's take a look at the actual story they're telling. This seems to be from the point of view of the lady that did not want Orion to go assail it. And I think she is the one contacting Vox to try and change things. So she says, foretell this to me that in a matter of just 3 weeks' time, my love will pass at sea, unless I am to trek out to him, because I am the only one who must save Orion and give up my own wife. I'll be there in due time to write my fate alive. I'll be there in due time. I know that I won't leave you adrift. I'm coming for you, my dear, my dear. And then, I'm not finished yet. I'm not leaving without him. Then, forsake your words. I simply just don't believe we three are tied to only one fate or another. To choose a path is not enough. I will be that one who will pave a new road for my very own fate. I'll be there in due time. And then they go back to the chorus, and then I'm not finished yet. You're not leaving here with him, which I guess is then addressed to fate, I guess, maybe. But do you kind of see what I mean when I'm saying that? Like, this is written as prose, not as verse. Some of this, I think you can keep some of the more prosy stuff. I like the monologues, the spoken stuff in a lot of the interludes, but I think if you want to have more melodic music, it's gonna help to condense your words and condense the pieces of narrative that you're writing. It's easy to follow now, the story, but at the expense of the song writing as a whole, I think. Those are my thoughts. that last like sort of double time fun jam that they did, that was a great time. Had a lot of fun with that. Keep up the good work. We're gonna keep moving to end, I believe, the Orion arc with the Reversal of Fate, which is an interlude, I believe, into Crossover. So we'll end the Orion arc, and then we'll keep moving. So start with the Reversal of Fate, and then Crossover. Ooh. Ooh. We got some reversed guitar. That's cool. Oh, because it's because they're reversing fate, so they reverse the guitar. Okay, alright. Alright, guys. I get it. I see you. Very clever. Bunch of clever boys. You. Clever boys.
What have you boys done?
Broden.
What have you done, boys?
Broden.
So does this mean that Vox listened to the lady? That he's doing what she asked? So he's the one reversing fate, perhaps? Maybe?
Devastating.
Okay, so we're into crossover now. How ambitious is this crossover? Okay, we're starting a little mellow. Ooh. Okay. We got a little bit of a marching shuffle here. What are we building to? Are we just mellowing out for this one? I'm down for that. Down for a chill time. Oh, no. Oh, we're going power ballad here is what we're doing. We're going full 80s power ballad. Nice, I like that choice. Nice. See, the fun thing about the 80s power ballad is they're cheesy as hell. They're cheesy as all get out. But I think, especially if you're doing a concept album or a narrative album, sometimes you gotta lean into the cheese. And I'm saying that is one of the choices. You either pull on the cheese and try and condense it a bit, condense the cheese into smaller bits, little cubes of cheese. Or you gotta be very strategic about the cheese cubes, you know? If I've said it once, I've said it 100 times, you have to be strategic with the cheese cubes, the cheese bits, right? And this is a lovely bit of cheese. It's just delightful. They're really leaning into it. This is like the cheese on a big plate of nachos, where it's just like we're not even being coy about this. It's just cheese all over. But that's part of the appeal of it. You know? I like that. This will not be the only cheese analogy that I make on this channel. There will be more. Aww. That's some cute shit. That's some cute shit. Okay. It was good. That was I really liked where that went. I like that they went just full ballad at the end. They're just really opened up. That was a good choice. Well done. Okay, that's the story of Arabelle and Orion. Of two lovers. About to start referencing the secret tunnel from Avatar, but I forgot the other words. So, two lovers. One of whom gotta go out to that sea. Just gotta. It's calling. And the other, Arabelle's like, nah, dude, it's bad news, dude. Bad vibes from that sea. He's like, I'm gonna go anyway, so, you know. And she's like, yo, fate. Could you, like, not this time? Could you just take a moment and just not be around for this? And then she goes out, swims out to him or whatever, and I guess they're okay. Hopefully they're okay. Maybe they ended up dying in the storm. Hard to tell. Hard to say at this point, but we're not going to worry about it. We're going to circle right on back to Avon with her melody box, followed by the track Avon, followed by a secret track. Not a trap. It's not a trap. A secret track called Of Time and Fate. Total about 8 minutes left of this album. So let's finish it off strong, boys. There we go. We're back to Avon. And that's definitely a piano for this melody box.
You broke your promise, brother.
Well, those high notes are a bit piercing.
Not good to us.
That's a little aggressive. There's a certain texture that they had in the guitar harmonics for the first melody box that were just a little bit less aggressive than these ones are.
How can you do this to me, my brother?
Ooh. Alright, we're leading in with the synth. Nice. Good pads. Ooh. Oh, we're throwing in some bass. Ooh. Ooh. Oh, this is dramatic. This is some cinematic shit right here. I like this. It is in 5/8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's cool. We love a little odd time signature. Oh, what are we doing? Oh. Hell yeah. Let's go. Okay, alright. Alright, they're leading in. They got some... Give the drummer some space. Okay. All right. I kind of wish they had. I kind of wish that again. I was looking for something a little bit more up tempo, but I'm not going to complain too much. It was just like the amount that they were building it up, having it come back to that kind of mid tempo thing feels it's a little anticlimactic, especially since this is technically the end of the album. But you write your songs, I'll write mine. Ooh. Those little violin stings are working really well there. Ooh. 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 I like that. See, even that guitar at the like sort of do 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 do, that feels just begging to be done in like that sort of double time that they've been doing at other points in the album. If they feel like they've done a little bit too much double time jamming, I get that. Carry on as you were. But that's just where my brain is going. That's where my music brain wants to go. Cool. Cool. There we go. Now we're jamming. We're picking it up. Oh, that guitarist is going ham. Nicely done there, Frank. Good job out there, Frank. Good hustle. Ooh. Okay. Are we going a little halftime here? Okay. All right. This is it's giving a little bit of Tool now. Just the sort of like weird offbeat shots. This is kind of what that reminds me of. Oh. Oh, we're in 3/4 now. Oh, we're back. No, we're still in 3/4. Okay. All right, Frank. All right, Frank. Oh, shit. That's cool. Hell yeah. All right, now we're into some double time. Very good. Very good. I'm glad they pull it off at some point in the end here. Ooh. Damn. Okay, we're going straight into Of Time and Fate. Some fancy. Oh, there's some harmonics. Nicely. Very nicely done. And that's all for that. Very nice. What an album. That was such a cool trip. Let's take a look at Avon's arc here, because it seems to be a bit on the darker side than the ending of the Arabelle Orion arc. So, Avon, the lyrics go, surface this jealousy, bloodlust knows no end. And then someone else says, I'll give you suffering you can't comprehend. Your betrayal now led to her murder. How could you do this to me, my brother? You broke your promises. You have forced my hand. For this I have wrought payment with her blood. I will find your resting place next to hers. With this I see what you've become. I wish it wasn't so, Avon. Despite your final words, who are weak, dead to me. You have no right to see light of day for your treachery. Avon, please don't force me to do this. And then, witness your fates come undone. So they decide to end this album on a tragic note. You know, blood begetting blood. And then Vox is just sort of standing off watching these two people kind of become each other's doom. Which is a fascinating way to end that whole story, is to kind of bring it back to Vox Arcanum just consistently watching humanity destroy itself, and just kind of watching that history unfold time and time again. Cool. That's a really strong first album, and I don't want that to sound patronizing or condescending. It really is. It came out in 2017. It's been 6 years. I'm sure that a lot of the criticisms that I may have made about this album, maybe they've been working on that over the past 5-ish years. You know, I would hope so. If not, maybe these are some things to consider as you continue making music, and I hope you do continue making music. You guys are very talented. And again, I'm not just saying that because you paid me to make this. I am saying it because I am genuinely impressed by y'all's musicianship. Prog rock is difficult to play well, and it's difficult to write, just because of the inherent complexity of the genre. So yeah, you're starting on a great note. Really excited to see where you go from here. Time and Fate is a very fitting title for this as a first album, sort of introducing the concept of the band. It's a great introduction, really strong first impression. But yeah, really excited to see how the second album sounds when it comes out. So yeah, thank you again to Tony for reaching out, and apparently they're going to be sending me some merch whenever that gets here. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. I'm glad that, you know, musicians and creators like me can support creators and musicians like you. I think more of that needs to happen in the world. Very big well done to Ben Karras on the electric violin. That shit slapped. Really nice addition to to the overall sound of that album. Like, really made a difference there. To the rest of Vox Arcanum, keep that guy around. Keep that guy around. He's good news. If you're watching this and you're not part of the Vox Arcanum, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed this. Maybe go give them some love. I've left their Bandcamp link below, so you can maybe, you know, actually pay for their music. Imagine that. What a concept. Otherwise, you can find this album on Spotify and Apple Music and wherever you find your music. Yeah, go check them out. They've got some good stuff and some very strong promise in the future. But yeah, for next time, thanks so much. If you like this video, click the like button, helps me out. Leave comments if you've got other bands that you think I would enjoy. I'm gonna take a bit of a break from hard rock and metal. I've got there are just other kinds of music that I've been eager to check out, so I'm gonna, if you've got any other hard rock bands to send to me, I'll get to them in due time. Yeah, in due time. Until then, thanks so much. Maybe you want to subscribe if you're watching. It would help me a lot. I've gotten a lot of new subscribers since the Sleep Token album came out, and I welcome you all here. Hope you enjoy yourselves. Hopefully you also enjoy gaming content, because that's a lot of what I do around here, and I refuse to make a second channel for either gaming or this. This is the one channel where I do both, and the algorithm and I have to deal with it. So, yeah, if you want to support the channel in other ways, I've got a Ko-Fi. You can throw me a few bucks that way. You can go to my merch store at streamlabs.com/tallinkyguy/merch. I've got a brand new beanie out, a little tie-dye toque/beanie. Toque is what we call it down up here in Canada. It says, "What are we doing for the bridge?" If you like that kind of thing, maybe you want to get one of those. And yeah, until next time, thank you very much. I'll see you later.